Welcome. Another episode of Artist to Artist. Today I got Tony Sav, an artist in a lot of ways. I heard some of your music too.
Yeah.
I had the chance in April to buy his comic book, Agent Black. So I definitely wanted to bring him up here for an interview and just kind of like really like talk about this whole thing because to me, walking across. And I don't know. Do you want me to say your first name, the name that you use for
Go ahead, of
Anthony
course.
Anozier?
Yes, sir.
That's how I pronounce it.
Yes, sir.
I ain't butcher. Right?
Nah, you got that right. Perfect.
But I remember walking past the table too, and I'm like, the black comic book art, it just was something that made my heart smile. And I'm like, nah, I got it. I gotta get it. Like, so, just to be able to support, enjoy, and be a fan of something like this, it meant a lot for me. Because I will say, growing up, I'm pretty sure you get this a lot, like, and especially yourself, liking stuff like this, right?
Yeah,
Liking
loving it.
comic books, anime stuff. Yeah, loving it. Like, the Dragon Ball Z's of the world. And you don't see any of these characters that are like predominantly in it black.
You don't.
You don't. So
Like-
it's like it's a game changer to see a lot more, people of color doing this, right? Loving it, creating content that's like, like these images, like even for something like my son, like, you know what I'm saying? Like him being able to see characters that look like him. I remember wanting to be white when I was younger because I'm like, well, this is all I see on the
Like that's
on the
all
cartoons
we see,
I love.
bro.
Yeah.
Like whether it be live action TV shows, whether it be comics, stories, movies, all the characters are predominantly white. You would get the occasional Jackie Chan movie. Jackie Chan was huge. That he got. I love Jackie Chan movies, but regardless, you don't really see too much black people.
No.
At all. Like I want to bring it back to the time where we was having like black stuff everywhere, and it just and it wasn't a statement. It just was there.
It was happening.
You feel me? Like back in the 90s, we had all these black sitcoms, all these black shows, black exploitation movies, all that just was like over the top, and they weren't really because of the message wasn't the main character is black and being black is the whole story. Nah, it was a story, and it just so happens that the main character is black.
Yes, it was better. What got you into actually like making comics and stuff? Like, were you always doodling as a kid? Started just drawing, taking it serious? Like, when did you start taking it serious? How'd that come about for you?
Well, I've been drawing my entire life. I remember I started drawing because my mom got me like this Spider-Man notebook, and I was enamored with Spider-Man and Batman and dinosaurs.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah, shout out my moms for real. So that was my first real like introduction to art. I just was drawing, doodling, trying to mimic what I saw on TV, Dragon Ball Z, one of those especially. So I've been drawing my entire life. I started making comic books back in like 2nd or 3rd grade. Just was doing it to do it, just to show my friends. I had a whole bunch of like crazy stories. Like I wouldn't even finish like some of the books that I started, but they'd be like small comic strips in like my binder, notebook, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I started taking it serious about it's 2025 now, so 3 years ago. In 2022, that's when I started taking it serious, when I actually realized and did research on it. I was unemployed at the time, so I'm looking at it like, yo, I don't want to keep going from job to job, whatever the case may be, without like having like a clear vision of what I want to do. Going to college, I went for media and film. Figured that I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to be a production assistant or like a director of photography anymore. But I still liked that cinematic storytelling. So I did a bit of research. I was looking at a couple of people that wrote and illustrated some of my favorite comic books, graphic novels. And they're actually making a living. They're making a healthy living.
Yep.
I mean, of course, you have like the top 5 or 1% that are like millionaires or whatever the case may be. That's not everybody, but they're making a substantial living. They're able to feed their families, provide for their families, buy homes.
The same living you would be doing working the job.
You feel me? Yeah. So I'm like, wow, this is actually viable, and it's not like a shot in the dark where everybody that applies doesn't make it or whatever the case may be. Like you can do this. So I'm like, you know what? Let me hustle down. Let me really focus, lock in. And that's what I did. I learned, like, I went back because I was drawing my whole life. That don't mean I was drawing correctly. So I hunkered down, learned the fundamentals, anatomy, perspective, light, color, all this stuff. So I had the creative mind without like the discipline. So I disciplined myself. I did the boring stuff, and I partnered up with my business partner, and he's basically been like the advertisement business side of everything.
That's love.
Yeah.
You need a team. You need a team.
Yeah, so that's my man's, and he's actually the one that helped influence me to actually take this seriously in a career mindset.
Is that the one that was there the day you had the table?
Nah, that's my man's Kevin. He's okay. That's my man's Crash. Follow him at Instagram, Crash Da Vinci. But he's just been a great moral support. I just have a whole bunch of people. Like, I have a team of editors.
Dope.
Like about 5 editors. My boy Gary, Taekwon, Crash, Adonis, and my boy Nas.
Shout out the team, yo.
Yeah,
that's
shout
dope.
out the team,
That's
bro.
dope.
It's about made up of 5 people, and they all give like their little insights where I should be taking the story, how I can improve the art, such and such and such and such. And so just surrounding myself around people that are excited about the work just makes me more excited about the work. It keeps me consistent. It keeps me pushing so that I could keep putting out work. Even if it's unreleased, I'll still have it in the tuck where I can improve upon it without first showing it to the public. So just having that and having these people behind me to keep pushing me forward is awesome.
That's lovely, yo. A lot of people don't have teams, and that's what people keep talking about, like getting people that are actually excited about what you are doing.
That's a fact.
Like that's love, yo. You said drawing your whole life and not drawing correctly, because I wanted to like pick out that. And then the other thing was you said you had like a bunch of reels and stuff, so like you were like creating like little comics. Yeah. And I wanted to ask, like, was any of like the 2 that you have out right now?
Yeah.
Were any of those like from like older stuff you did, or you kind of like just created these characters more so in the latter years? Like, did you ever pull a character from like way back, like, oh, I made this character when I was like 15, and I just wanted to bring him back alive?
Be honest with you, both of these books, they exist in a universe that I created when I was a senior in high school, when I was around like 16, 17.
Dope.
So it's actually on my shirt right now. It's called The Valiant Voltage.
Okay.
So I created this character. He's kind of like the flagship character. I created him in senior year because I was like, I wonder what would be a cool power for a black character that isn't like overly used. Like, okay, we already know about super strength. We already know about electricity. Every black character has electric powers.
Why they do that to us?
You want a quick rundown on that?
On electricity?
Yeah, they do that because the very first character with electric powers was Black Lightning. And because he wasn't owned by DC at the time, they kept trying to make like copycats of him, so that DC didn't have to pay the original creator for him. But once DC finally got the rights, they just made him like the flagship black character, as well as Static Shock. But that just became kind of like the normality for like black characters to have electric powers. That's where we get Static Shock, Storm, Miles Morales.
I was wondering why that was the case. It was always just electric and black, like
that's the reason why.
Wow.
But I was thinking, hey, I want to make a cool character, right?
Yeah.
And then I started looking at character names, what character names weren't being used, and believe it or not, I thought Voltage would have been used by now, but it wasn't. So shout out that. And I was like, and contradictory to the name, he actually doesn't have electric powers.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. I was like, wait, you said you gave him something that was
a little different. I gave him teleportation and energy manipulation.
Okay.
Because I liked how like Dragon Ball Z characters would fight and they'd be like shooting all these energy blasts or whatever the case may be. And so I gave him those powers.
And real quick, just to interject, you said these are going to be, they're in the same universe.
They're all in the same universe. Okay. So Agent Black, the main character of that book is Gatlin Black, right? And so basically he's kind of like a British mercenary, whatever the case may be. And when he gets introduced in Voltage, he's kind of more of like an anti-hero villain-esque character. And Agent Black, because I wanted to basically practice and improve my art, I did these 2 books, which are kind of like standalones. They're like one-shots, basically. And that was to basically get me better at writing, as well as get my art up there. So instead of creating whole new entities or books or ideas, something that all branched into the same universe. And Agent Black, I came up with him back in 2017, my freshman year of college, because I was playing a lot of Call of Duty at the time, and I wanted like a cool character that was badass, but still like whimsical and funny. That wasn't like that was a little bit more grounded than what we have in Voltage, because Voltage is kind of like a outwards as story.
What do you mean by that? Like very like loose.
Nah, it's very like fantastical, basically. Like it's kind of like a lot of the thematical ideas are grounded, but the execution of them are way more like science, sci-fi.
Okay.
Like very this obviously it doesn't exist, but like a fantastical world, because I wanted a black superhero and something that didn't have to do with like the stereotypical black struggles.
Okay.
So instead of him fighting cops or drug dealers, whatever the case may be, he's fighting alien armies.
Yes.
So
okay. How'd your world building go with this? Because I mean, as I'm hearing about this story, I haven't gotten a chance to read it. I just got my copy today. Make sure I get your copy. This story sounds like it's a yes. From the same worlds.
Yeah.
You said they're in the same like universe, and they're introducing, and then when you're going in here, cause this picked up on the aliens. It started. You're talking about the aliens and stuff, and you said you did it as a one shot, and then you somehow like you made it so it integrated.
Yeah.
So like, where did the world building come like with this idea after this idea? Did you had this one first, and then you kind of like branched off into this, or they were made around the same time? Like you knew you were doing this when you did this one.
Yes.
Got you.
Now, the world building, I kind of did it the opposite way. Instead of going smaller to bigger, I went bigger to smaller, just so I could focus in on a couple of details.
Yeah.
So, it was a little bit of a struggle getting Agent Black to connect to the main universe without making it way more fantastical than it had to be, because I wanted to keep this grounded.
Okay.
So Agent Black is kind of like an action horror. My first time writing a horror-esque book, but I wanted to keep it like grounded, human level, whatever the case may be, Earth level. Like I wanted the reader to read Agent Black like, damn, I could survive this. Whereas in Stratusfall, it's kind of a little bit harder to like put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, it takes you to the place instead of the place take. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically, the world building all started, I think, in 2017. It started in end of 2016, early 2017, because when I first made Voltage, I had him in the Marvel Universe, whatever the case may be, just because I was familiar with that, whatever.
Yeah.
So I actually said, scrap that. Let's make him completely independent.
That's tough.
Own thing. And so I made his own universe. It was called the Chronosphere, and basically the Chronosphere is basically made up of 5 different planets.
Okay.
And it's a parallel dimension to our own.
Okay.
So doing that, I had the story basically derive off his father escapes like a giant civil war within the Chronosphere.
Okay.
Comes to Earth.
What was it? Was it hard transitioning with that?
Nah, it wasn't actually.
Okay.
Because I already had a bridge to the 2 worlds. And I think because Earth is Earth, right? So we already it's something that we're familiar with, whatever the case may be. I did make it a little bit different, because I was like, what if like a alien came to Earth and secretly influenced like our technology, and it's a little bit more advanced. So like you'll see people on jetpacks with superpowered suits, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, it's a 1 to 2 of Earth. Okay. It's like a reflection of Earth, whatever.
Because I was gonna ask, that was one of the questions I had, was like, do you make the character first and then build the world around the character, or are you building your world and then building the character around the world, like putting them in it? So for this one, you had the character already, and you said, okay, I'm gonna take him and I want to put him into this world that I'm now creating around him. Or was it? Yeah, go ahead, give me
now.
Yeah.
I usually create the characters first.
Okay.
Because I think with world building, you could easily get lost in it. Like I could get lost in the culture, what type of currency they use, what holidays they have, what gods they worship, their traditions, all that. You could get lost in the world building. And honestly, I like to keep my stories simple. So I like to keep like a lot of the world open-ended for the reader, so that they can basically like ask themselves questions and or want more So like they could come back for the next book. Because if I basically explain everything to you in one book, first off, I'm taking away from the story.
And people hate explaining. When you
Right,
explain
you
the whole
feel me?
thing, like let me live it, let me get it. You did a great job with that as well.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
So I usually create the characters first, and then I have the world around them.
Mm-hmm.
For my latest book, Stratusfall, like I said, you can take a look at that.
Yeah, let me grab
But
that.
Stratusfall,
Yeah,
I
I've seen
already
the
had-
character on your page too. There's dope designs too.
I appreciate you,
Yeah.
gang. I'm thinking like, how much cooler can you get than a black ninja with white dreads on a dinosaur? You feel me? Like,
I can't wait to. I'm gonna dive into this too. I'm gonna let you know. 'Cause I don't think I ever even hit you up about this.
nah, I
Did
definitely need your review on that.
Yeah. I don't even think I hit you up about it. So, I mean, I told you a little bit, like where I'm like, kind of like, you over here killing. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
Annabelle.
my favorite character and whatnot. Off rip, but just definitely was a great job getting me emotionally tied to the character. I remember that for a fact. Like I said, I was trying to like read it again too, and I'm like, dang, like I felt like I got a good emotional pull into the characters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I felt like tied, and I guess like going back to that, it's a character here with locks. I'm I'm a black belt with locks. So off of rip, like things like that, just kind of like pull it in, and it's like really for anybody of any race that could read it. So then you have the story, and then the story's cool, and it's like okay, like even when they I forget where he's like going into it, and we kind of get to this point where it's kind of, if I remember correctly, it's kind of almost like the beginning of it was a flashback up until a certain point in a way.
Yeah, definitely was.
Right. And so when I get there, I'm like, oh dang, like you know what I'm saying? Like he's just remembering this part of it. Kind of like he's went through so much, like you know what I'm saying? Just to get to this point, and now there's more. So I definitely enjoyed the story. But I'm gonna give you a actually I'll do like a review on it just and send you a text. It's gonna be a text.
I love that, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll throw that in like the review corner of the website.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Anybody that has my book or has a copy, please send me a review. I would love to just put it on the website so that future readers can know like what type of work that we're putting out.
You can comment it on the website.
Yeah,
too.
definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
you can comment it on the website too. I would
Okay.
love to hear all of it.
All right, I'm leaving it right on our website then.
Yeah. Now,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, yo. Writing stories is so fun because like when you reread your old stuff, you kind of forget how good or bad it was. So after finishing Stratusfall, I went back and I reread Agent Black, and I'm like, wow, I love both of these books, but I think Stratusfall blows Agent Black out the water. I'm not gonna lie.
As you should. If it came later, you feel like you should be getting better at something. Yeah, like never. That's good. I'm looking forward to it then. What I was gonna ask too, what was like some of the biggest challenges of being like an independent comic book creator? You said you had this team. You have like your editors that are there and everything. You kind of made that decision. You're like, I'm like, what do I want to do? But what was those challenges that came about that you're kind of like, okay, here's a challenge. I know for next time I'm able to do this better. Whether it came to just like say for instance, like you do have 2 different sizes, right? On these, was that like decisions like that, or just being like, okay, I need to learn about this like how I'm gonna get the book made, or things like that? Like, what was the challenges that came about when creating this?
Well, I would say there are probably 3 major challenges. That would be just doing the work in itself, because this isn't easy work. This is very tedious work.
Very.
But I mean, if you like it, then it shouldn't really feel like work, because it don't feel like work to me. But it's like, bro, I'm making books that are 200 pages each. So it's not something that I could do in a month. This is stuff that, like, Agent Black took me 8 months. Stratusfall took me 6 to 7 months to make. So like that's the first struggle, is just being able to balance yourself and pace yourself to do this work if you have like this project in mind, because you can easily burn out. You have to take breaks. I think like for every issue, I take about a week and a half break just so I can reset myself until the next issue.
Yeah.
And just giving you that time to breathe, be a human being.
Yeah.
Second issue would probably be budgeting and balancing your money, putting the money to the right space, allocating the money to the right places, because Asian Black, we had to put in our own money because we didn't have any money from like the business didn't make any money itself yet. So
no capital just sitting there. Yeah.
Feel me? Yeah. So basically, me and my business partner saved up about like $200 every month, and we basically put that to like the advertising and marketing campaign. Shout out Dark Side, because most of the places that you see me at, if they're local, like Rawway, definitely Dark Side. Met V, shout out to people at Dark Side V, Red, LA, Joey, Jessica. Jessica actually introduced me to the Dark Side family, but they've been a huge help in just getting the book out locally and putting me in spaces where I can bring more attention and awareness to the book. Like I remember Blessed to Be Dressed is where I actually found and created the capital for the Agent Black printing process, because Jessica had me come in and I was basically like a vendor where I was selling off like prints and stuff like that. And I was selling each print for $10. I went home with about $400 or $500 that night.
That's great.
Thank you for everybody that bought a print, everybody that was so supportive. So with that $400 or $500, I was able to experiment with different printing companies, and basically that's where I got the Agent Black, my very first like copy of Agent Black. I was getting a whole bunch of test copies, seeing which printer I wanted to go to, such and such and such and such. And by the dimensions that I drew it at, I had to print it in like a standard comic book size.
Okay.
Which would cost me around like, because it's fully black and white, it cost me around like $8 to $9 per book to print out. So I'm like, all right, cool. And now we getting the ball rolling, whatever the case may be. But even that, I was like, that's a little taxy, because now I'm gonna have to tax the reader such and such amount of money to be able to make profit and be able to do it all over again.
So you're trying to figure out how to lower these costs?
Yeah, I'm definitely, because the main point of the book is just to get it in people's hands. I just want people to enjoy and read them for real. Like, and the third major like challenge is just advertising, marketing, and just getting the book out there. Because you could have a beautiful work of art, bro. I could spend a week on every single page and make it the best art ever, which I don't do. I'm not going to do that because at the same time, I just want to get the story out. But you could have this beautiful work of art and nobody will see it. So what's the point of all the hours that you put into it?
Marketing is everything.
Everything. So me and my business partner, that's my man Adonis Blazer, shout out him. But me and my business partner, we just made it a point to basically like focus on social media content creation, figuring out ways to get this to our audience on these different platforms, as well as going in person, boots on ground, going to these conventions, meeting these people. And bro, let me tell you, man, pitching your book in person is completely different than over social media. I actually think it's easier in person than it is social media. Just like talking to people, telling them about the story. They're already interested because you're independent and they're probably sick of whatever Marvel and DC is putting out. So you get them going, you get them on the idea, and then they just like, okay, you know what? You give them a good price tag. Yeah, they with it. Especially if you throwing, hey, man, I signed it for you too. Yeah, they're with it. So getting my boots on the ground, going to different conventions, meeting professionals, spinning this to professionals, pitching it to comic book lovers. I love it. It's a challenge though, but I love it.
Yeah. I was just talking about like how much better it is to support people that can tell you thank you in person. Like people be like spending so much money on like people they don't know, and I'm like, yo, you meet somebody, why not support them? And you know what I'm saying? Like it's way different. It's way different. Is there anybody that was like kind of like, you know, like you meet people and they're kind of like come back and like writing you something like, yo, listen, like this changed. Did you like one of those like this really helped, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this book was like really like.
Yeah, I actually, because at my job, I've sold a couple of books at my job just talking to people, because I usually like draw and whatever the case may be, and they see my art or whatever. They ask me like what's it's about, and basically there was this nice lady at the job. She bought like, she bought 2. She actually bought both books, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said that her son loved it so much she wanted me to meet her son and like basically So I met this like 7-8-year-old, and I was basically just telling him, hey man, do art, do whatever you want, but just make sure that you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you want to be an athlete, be an athlete. But just love what you love, and I'm glad that I'm getting you into reading because I feel like reading is a lost art in our day and age.
Yes.
Not enough readers, not enough real readers.
Yeah.
Like Barnes and Noble not packed like it used to be.
No.
Because they're taxing.
I was about to say you also could just order it
on Amazon.
On Amazon, yeah.
Right, but they taxing though. Bring those prices down. Like it ain't gonna kill you to have a deal. Like buy 2 books, get the third one free. Like come on now.
Yeah, they don't do none of that.
They don't do that. Like
a lot of people I feel like a lot of people say like, oh, audio books. I do audio books now. Like I like to listen to something, or like it's like reading is a little bit lost for a lot of people.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. The books I read, it wouldn't even make sense to read an audio book because I read a whole bunch of graphic novels and like art books and stuff like that. So that's just different for me. I get the audio book thing because you probably feel like you in a movie or whatever the case may be. But I just love reading like books because I retain so much from them when I read them in the physical. But that's just me though.
What would you say would be your top 3 influences if you had to pick? I know that's a broad question for artists. It's always like, come on, like I absorb all of it. But like if you had to pick like 3
top 3 influences,
and that could be whether that's an artist or something that was produced by multiple people, like part of the show or any of that stuff that kind of like really hung with you.
For sure, I already kind of got it in mind because they're kind of like my go-tos. I always go back to them whenever I need inspiration. For sure, art-wise is Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Absolute legend.
Yes.
He makes art look so fun and simple, but he can actually draw. Like he draws the most complex stuff, like motorized cars, but then it'll be Goku inside the race car. Of extremely simple drawing of Goku. So I like what he does. He makes everything feel fantastical. I love looking at his art. Daniel Warren Johnson. He is a comic book artist and writer. He's done works like Extremity, Transformers, Murder Falcon, stuff like that. He's not really too well known, but he's kind of like a celebrity in the comic book world.
Okay.
He's a huge inspiration for me. I actually met him about 2 years ago in New York Comic-Con. Great guy, but I like his stories because I kind of adopted the template of his stories is having these fantastical worlds, but having extremely grounded themes and relatable themes. So like the story would be about a daughter and her father fighting like a multiverse wrestling match. But the theme of it is they're basically fighting this wrestling match to be able to see their dead mom one more time. So that'd be like everybody can relate to missing like a relative that's passed on, but it's just in these fantastical settings.
Nice fantastical. Okay.
You feel me?
Yes.
And number 3, for sure. Number 3 influence. Sheesh, gang. I can't even lie to you, Spider-Man. Spider-Man as like him just as a character, as an entity, as existence.
Yeah.
I like Spider-Man a lot because it's kind of like anybody could be Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is the most relatable person ever.
Yeah.
True sense of a hero. Whenever you think of superhero, you probably think of Superman, Batman, or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Spider-Man. He might be first on to think about.
Nah, he might.
Just off of kids. Like I know, like even with the Spider-Verse just blowing it up even more for this younger generation. But like back in the day when we had those Spider-Man movies, that definitely was a big part. Is that something that you would ever be looking for these to do, like for for them to be animated, for them to be a live action? Is that something like in the future you're like, I want that?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, the goal is basically to I never want to sell my rights away, but I do want distribution rights. Like I want a big publisher to be able to distribute my books to places I can't reach, whatever the case may be. And the end goal is to have an animated TV show, animated movie, maybe even a live action movie. But I don't like live action movies.
They mess it up a lot, right?
Bro, the live action movies, it's always someone in Hollywood that thinks that they can execute your idea better than you.
Yeah.
So they like to rewrite things and do it with like in the span of how they would do it. So that's why I don't want to go into live action. But I also think that animation is a lot more creative and free. Like you can get a lot more out of animation than you can live action, but I do understand that it is a double-edged sword where live action will expose your work more to a broader audience.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I would rather stick with animation.
Yeah. Unless they give you like full creative control.
What? They
like,
give me full creative control?
Yeah. Then it's
do
like,
it.
okay.
And then,
that was one of the questions I had too. If you had to cast Agent Black as somebody, as a actor celebrity right now, who would you have casted as Agent Black?
As Agent Black,
Yeah.
woo. That's a good one. Because I really don't know all that many celebrities. Not gonna lie to you. If it was live action, I think I would get Broski. That's my boy too. You seen that Black Adam movie with The Rock?
Yes. The
Hawkman.
yes, the dude. I think I know
black
you're
dude.
talking about.
Aldrich Hodge, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Aldrich Hodge. Yeah, I'd like him to be would I? No, I wouldn't. Shout out to my boy, because I need Agent Black to be like rugged, but I also need him to be like sarcastic as well, with a British accent. So voice acting, definitely would probably want Damson Idris as a voice actor.
That's dope.
I don't know if I would have him as a
As the
live action,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, because Hollywood would take the live action and put Casanat.
right.
You know? He's like, yo, what?
Like, right, what are you doing?
That's
like,
what they. Yeah.
yeah, facts. But Eldridge Hodge for live action is a huge, like, he's an honorary mention. But I have another character that he would probably be way better as.
Yeah.
Because he has more of like a stoic, serious like acting style.
Mm-hmm.
So with Agent Black, he's more of like a he is serious, he is dark, but he has that sarcasm to
There's
him.
a lot. Yeah. Yep.
And I need him to be sarcastic. So live action, up in the air. Voice acting, Damson Idris.
Okay. That's dope. What about for? I mean, I haven't.
Stratusfall. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. This is not something I think about too much.
No, I know.
So I'm gonna have to.
But look, hey,
I'm gonna have to look up black actors.
As my foretelling, like, you know what I'm saying, like, just to see, like, I can't wait to see the like where everything is gonna go, because I'm looking forward to seeing these being animated in the future. So I'm, but it was definitely a question I had on here. But I also had like far as like, do you like what are your thoughts on the current state of the comic book industry? You know, like, as I, you know, personally, I remember being younger and I could go to the library and get a comic book, right? And I really don't see anybody as much walking around. I remember there was this time, it was like Naruto. People were just getting these Naruto manga. And then even it was a comic book shop I used to see, but it closed down. So then it just feel like it
broke my heart.
But it felt like it was like flat for a little bit in those between 2014 to 2018 time, and then I just started seeing them again.
Yeah.
So like, is that what you also have been experiencing? Probably like more people are getting back into like seeing, like, wanting to feel like, you know what I'm saying, like a physical copy. Because like even with this one, I was like, I don't want to order it online. Like, you got a copy of it.
Yeah.
So that. Yeah.
Comic books as they are right now, the industry, not gonna lie, the industry is up and down like any other industry.
Of course.
Hopefully, knock on wood, we'll never see like a comic book crash like we saw like in the 90s, where like comic books were just damn near dead. But for the most part, I think that Japanese manga right now is at the top of the hill when it comes to like just any sorts of comic books, graphic novels, whatever the case may be. Right after that is independent books. And I think like some of the mainstream comic books aren't probably doing as well. Like DC's mainline Batman, Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man, whatever the case, they might not be doing well, but they're still afloat. Like people are still talking about them online, whatever the case may be. They just don't like the
and they
stories.
read them digitally.
Yeah, they read them. But bro, every time I walk into my comic book store, it's always me and a couple of people in there. So I think comic books are healthy and alive right now. Independent comic books are on a boom right now. People love indie books. So if you're an independent creator, now is the time.
No, that's what I'm saying. I see people with them now, so I'm like, oh, it's definitely a uptick. I would say, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's fire right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a great time. People are they're more open to seeing books that they've never heard of now more than any other time.
Yep.
I would think that. I also think that there's going to be a lot more people getting into the indie world with shows like, I don't know if you've seen it or heard of it, Invincible.
Yes.
Invincible's going crazy right now. So that's just going to bring people more into like the independent spotlight, because Invincible before, I want to say like 2015, no one really was talking about him too much. You had to be like a comic book fan to know what Invincible even was about. So it's cool to see that under Image Comics. They said they're making a Spawn movie. Who knows? But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that started as an independent comic book. Bone, everybody knows Bone. It's like the Scholastic book. Have you ever seen Bone? It's like this.
I might know it if I see it. Then if you're saying it's a Scholastic book,
yeah, it's a Scholastic book, and that's probably like one of the best selling graphic novels.
Right. I ain't know Invincible. I ain't know about the comic until it came out, and then I'm like, is this a comic? You know, you go do your Google after you watch something, and then you're like, oh man, this is a done comic, by the way. It's not even like an ongoing comic.
Like it's finished. Like complete series done.
Yeah, so I thought that was dope, but you're right. That does bring a lot of like people to the genre of comic books.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people. Actually, that's something for me to go look up too. Like, what was the sell? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like an artist doing a Super Bowl.
You feel me?
Like,
bro, it's like, because what the book originally comes out as probably won't be its final numbers. So like, let's say with Agent Black, I sold over 300 copies. If I come out with an Agent Black animated TV show, bro, I might sell upwards of 10,000, 100,000 copies.
Yeah, because of the reach.
You feel
the
me?
Marketing.
Yeah.
And it does a lot. What's like something like huge that you hope readers take away from Agent Black?
Agent Black was more of a story about grief, loss, and revenge. I didn't really have like a upside to that book. I'm not gonna lie, it's very dark. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. But I would say Agent Black is more of about like perseverance and just being able to get yourself out of a dark place and basically to confront your demons. That's probably the biggest takeaway from Agent Black. Now, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nah, you go ahead.
I was about to say, I don't know if you want to give it for Stratusfall yet, but
what? Yeah, Stratusfall is the thematic, that is my thematic trophy right there. I think that I did incredible writing it because with Stratusfall, although it is in a fantastical world, it does have political roots to it. So
things that'll tie you to it, kind of say, okay,
exactly,
this is familiar, like, just in a fantastic use,
things that we've seen in our world for real. So Stratusfall basically is about a reluctant hero who has to find a way to basically evacuate his planet from an imperialistic alien tyrant who's trying to not only steal the resources of his planet but eradicate the entire inhabitants. So it's like it's like a race against time, and it's basically about perseverance, the will to fight and survive, and to overcome insurmountable odds. That's what that's about. So I think that one,
this is more of your baby than Agent Black. It's like it all falls into
they both my kids, but I definitely think that Stratusfall, given the right platform, it'll definitely reach like a big, like higher.
So is this something that's gonna have it's gonna have like a following up, like continuation, or is it more so like, cause you said you was doing it like one shots?
Stratusfall, it kind of leaves the door open for continuation.
Okay.
And I want people to the people that read Stratusfall, I want them to come back and read Voltage, because Voltage would be the direct continuation of Stratusfall.
Got you.
Even though Stratusfall takes place way before Agent Black, it would be like the direct it would be the direct prequel to Voltage. But not for nothing, you don't have to read any book to understand the entire story. It just is kind of like an Easter egg for those who do choose.
Fun to link, yeah. I love stuff like that.
It's a huge world building, and people that get like the Easter eggs, that get the Easter eggs, and such and such.
If you read it, if you read Stratusfall first and then read Agent Black, you still get
nah, you're on a great, because nothing in Stratusfall affects Agent Black.
Okay.
Nothing in Agent Black affects Stratusfall, but they're all tied in the same universe, and you will be able to see like very, very minute Easter eggs.
Okay, that's fun. That's fun for me. I love stuff like that, like watching movies, seeing what like coincides with together. Like, oh, like that was the same type. Was that DNA, the same DNA they were talking about? Like stuff like that is gonna be fun.
It's a character in Stratusfall that looks exactly like the antagonists or the antagonistic force in Agent Black, and you're like, okay, so I can see where this derives from, such and such.
Okay. So when does the next one come out? I didn't see that one on the...
Well, I just want to give Stratusfall some time to breathe. I only released it in September. Even though I'm already working on the next project, that doesn't mean I'm ready to release the next project.
Yeah.
But so I like to give...
Because I know you said this one took what? I think you said about 7-8 months.
Yeah.
You said 9-10 months.
Yeah.
7-8 months.
Yeah.
So you've been working on this new one.
Yeah.
For
some time
already.
Yeah. I'm on issue 6 of the newest book. That'll probably release sometime next year. So like probably towards around the same time that these two released. So
real quick too, because I had that on my thing. Do you work out your whole story first, or are you making your pages along with your story as you go?
With these, I made the story first. First off, with Voltage, I had the entire story planned out. Like I have like a very thin outline of the entire story of how I want it to go, but then I'll go into like each season, and then I'll go how the season goes out, and then I'll go into each issue, how the issue goes out, just so it builds up to like what I want the end of the season to be, and then that season will build up to what I want the end of the series to be.
That's dope.
With these two, I wrote these. Agent Black took me about 2 weeks to write. So I wrote that down, such and such, got the characters. I already had Gatlin Black, Agent Black. He was already established in my mind how I wanted his character to be, but then I needed people that were able to contradict and coincide with him, people that worked well with him, such and such, and put him in a world that was familiar to him. Stratusfall, I will say Stratusfall, that story actually took me even less time to write, just because I was way more comfortable with the world. It's like an action adventure story, and I'm way more comfortable writing action adventure than I am action horror. So with Stratusfall, I had to create a new character. I had to create new characters to coincide with this new character. The main villain was someone that was already established. All the villains are already established. They already had the idea for them.
That's dope.
And then just writing out the story and making sure that it made sense in the greater scheme of Voltage and how that will work in Voltage. Yeah.
That's dope. I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'm looking forward to Voltage as well. I want to see the energy stuff too,
bro. It's gonna be a good time. I'm excited for Voltage.
That's what's up, yo. And I definitely wanted to see what far as if your life was a comic book, what the title would be.
If my life was a comic book, what would the title be? I'm already knowing, so I'm fake thinking right now. But yeah, so because I used to do music, right? My artist name was Tony Sav. Artists never stop at just one name.
Yeah.
So I was like having like the name moniker Baby Dragon, 0014 Baby Dragon. So it'd be the adventures of Baby Dragon. And I was like, I remember drawing myself a few times. So basically, right, I was like this ninja sorcerer.
Okay.
Yeah. and I could summon upon a dragon, right? It was kind of like you know how in anime they be having like, oh, there's an inner demon or whatever the case may be whenever the character gets mad.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd have a dragon inside of me, and every time I got mad or like was on the breaking point, it would be like a new transformation.
Okay.
Case in point. But yeah, the comic book would be titled "The Adventures of Baby Dragon."
That's dope. And well, I guess that you took away my next question. 'Cause my next question was, if you had any superpower, what would the superpower be? But has that changed since that time, or would you continue on with that same superpower?
If I could have one superpower,
if you got one superpower
above all else, teleportation, without a doubt.
Okay.
And it would be, you know how when people say like, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And they say like flight or super strength, but in reality, the way our bodies are built, we wouldn't survive. Like if I was super strong, my body would have to be durable enough to sustain my super strength. And if I was able to fly, my body would have to be adaptable enough to be able to go through to like these different altitudes. I would need teleportation. And teleportation is a tricky one too.
Yeah.
Because check this out, gang. I didn't even know this, but our bodies are moving at the speed of the atoms on this plane, right? If you were to take our bodies out of this plane and put it right back in, we might completely disintegrate because our bodies, you're changing the speed of our atoms and molecules without giving them time to adjust. Which is weird. I didn't know that about science. So teleportation would instantaneously kill you if it was real. But I say teleportation, but on a realistic note, like put an asterisk next to it. Like,
yeah.
So like,
but then you would be
no. But I'm saying like my body, on a realistic note, what I mean is that like my body would be able to adapt to the speed of the molecules and such and such.
Okay, yeah. With all the
scientific
limitation breakers off of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's just because I'm a comic book nerd and I watch YouTube videos about if powers were real. So.
Okay. No. I've seen a couple of those videos too. I think they were talking about probably like light too. Yeah. Like just how light actually travels and all of that stuff. Like why would a lot of them like just not possible.
Unfortunately.
Saying, yeah. But I'm pretty sure they got some workarounds coming.
You
some
feel
biotech,
me? Yeah. You feel me, gang? Like they saying super speed not possible.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, hey, I'm definitely gonna enjoy these books. I'm looking forward to reading Stratusfall. I'm rereading Agent Black, and then we're gonna look forward to whatever else is gonna be coming our way in the next year.
Yes, sir.
So yeah,
the Valiant Voltage coming out. We definitely gonna have a lot of work coming out. Future projects, who knows? But I mean, the future is bright. So I definitely want to put out as much work as I possibly can, and I just want to feed the market and feed the audience.
Can you give them the website, like where to find you on social media, like all the platforms? Like
yes, sir. So you can, on my website is www.valiantvoltage.com. That's www.valiantvoltage.com, where you can cop all of my books digitally, as well as get you a physical copy of Stratusfall. You can find me on Instagram at Overlay Comics, OVERLAY Comics. That's OVERLAY Comics on Instagram. And you can find me on TikTok at Overlay Comics. That's OVERLAY Comics, COMIX.
COMIX.
Yeah.
Okay.
So OVERLAY COMIX. That's on TikTok.
Okay. Hey, appreciate you. But wait, did you sign my copy of this?
Nah, I ain't get a chance to sign it yet.
Come on, man. Come on. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah, I got you. What's today's date? The 7th?
Today's the 7th. Yeah. Listen, man. Make sure when y'all meet these future millionaires, you make sure you get they signatures and everything, man. Like this is great content, great stuff. So, and just wanted to give you your flowers too,
bro. I appreciate you for having me on here, man. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be able to speak about my comic. It's just a blessing, man.
Yeah, no. Thank you for blessing the show, man. Hey,
that's for you, and don't forget your print. Exclusive print. Stratusfall.
Appreciate it. artist. Tony Anozier, aka Tony Sav here, with DZ, aka known as Swindell. Y'all have a great day, all right?